Over 1,200 years before the Geneva Bible started the Old and New Testament format, and before King James was able to place Horus in a white Jesus costume, there was the Ethiopian original tongues. And it told us about Psalm 146, in which it's basically saying that God knew that they were going to try to change his words by placing Jesus as him. So let's read Psalm 146. Praise the Lord, O my soul. While I live, I will praise the Lord. Do not put your trust in princes, nor in the son of a man, in whom there is no help. You notice they call Jesus the Prince of Peace. And we all know that he is the Son of Man. So happy is he who has the God of Jacob for his help, whose hope is in the Lord his God, who made heaven and earth. In other words, only pray to the God of Jacob, who's known as Israel. No one else. For the Lord shall reign forever, your God, O Zion, to all generations. Now who's the God of Zion? The Lord of Lords. And he was crowned King of Kings in Ethiopia. And by now we all should know that Ethiopia is Zion, and Zion is Ethiopia. If not, listen.
He became emperor on November 2nd, 1930, and was crowned Haile Selassie I, King of Kings, King of Zion, conquering lion of the seed of Judah.
So he represents the oldest version of the Bible in the world. For Ethiopia is the oldest, most complete Bible on earth, which was written around 330 AD, as they say, even though Ethiopia does not follow BC or AD on their calendar. So as you notice, it was Geneva Bible who started the Old and New Testament format. Then 51 years later was the King James Version. So who is King James?
And this is King James himself. And here's yet another image of King James and what he really looked like. My source for all of this information comes from Cambridge University, from the book King James IV and the First Reunion of Christendom. This is one of the very few non-whitewashed images of the king that we have.
So what did they do?
They wanted to be able to control the people. They wanted to say that the government is divinely empowered and that the church you got to listen to, and of course he controlled the church. 1910 talks about some of the real purposes of the King James Version, and it's not what you were taught in school or not what you were taught most other places. So, for those reasons, the King James Bible, and of course the following editions, there's a book called, by the way, New Age Bible Versions, and it's by Gail Riplinger. And it talks about 65,000 plus changes in the King James versions to some of the New Age versions. There's 20,000 changes from the Geneva to the King James.
So they kept changing. So as you can clearly see, the Son of Man is Jesus. And Jesus often called himself the Son of Man as part of his interactions. Why? Because in Psalm 89, he made it clear that his father David sits at the right hand of the Lord. In other words, he is the grandson of God. And his dad David already sits in the right hand of the Lord. But it's due to the King James Version and their false prophets.
They speak of the false prophet Bar Jesus, until your eye, Asmodeus, in the Father's place. The Simon Peter and Paul place of